Good morning. Can everyone hear me okay? Well, welcome. I know it's really warm out here today, and we're going to try to speed the program along so we can get in some cool air. But today is a tremendous day. It's an exciting day. I'm proud to be standing before you today to present some important news to you, some exciting news for our school district. It starts with us, an initiative that our superintendent started a year or so ago with her staff, her leadership team. It starts with us. And the transportation department is no different. And when it starts with us, we decided to take our role and our ownership in that theme of it starts with us. And trying to come up with ways, innovative ways, to go green, be environmental sound, and make a safe transportation way for our children. So today is that day that we introduce to you what we came up with and share that news with you. And I welcome you and I thank you for coming out this morning. My name is Pat Mitchell. I'm the Transportation Director for Mobile County Public School System, and I welcome you. But before we get started, I would like to introduce some very distinguished guests. And to my left, Superintendent Martha Peake, the Honorable Lieutenant Governor Kay Ivey, my Program Manager, Quality Control Manager Ken Qualheim, our School Board Commissioner President Dr. Resnick Crenshaw. To my right, Vice President of Bluebird, Mr. Dale Wendell, Steve Phillips, Vice President of Busworks, Vice President of Roush, Mr. Todd Moe, President and CEO of Blossom Gas, Mr. Stewart Reed. Elected officials are present today. Senator Ruster Glover, Sheriff Sam Cochran, and his Chief Deputy David Wilhelm. Other guests we have present today, Mr. Greg McColeman, Regional Manager of Bluebird, Chelsea Jenkins from Roush, Alabama Clean Fuels, Mr. Mark Bentley, Executive Director, Al Dot, Fleet Manager, Willie Bradley, and Arita Alexander. Mobile County School Leadership Team, we welcome you to be here today. Our CFO, Ms. Donnie Simpson, the superintendent and her staff, our commissioner, Dr. Bill Foster, Commissioner Doug Harwell, Tracy Robertson, and Commissioner Doug Harwell. Executive Director of Student Support Services, Mr. Terrence Mixon. And most importantly, let me introduce my team, my staff. As you walked into this garage, I know it didn't look like your typical garage. And I couldn't have had this place to look the way it looked without my team, my support, my route supervisors, my clerks, my mechanic, my foreman, everybody. The support team that I have, they're the ones that I have to give all the thanks to, the things that they do on a daily basis to make sure that our children get to and from school every day safely. So I want to give them a thank you, and if you will, a round of applause to my support staff. From the State Department of Education, I would like to thank Mr. Joe Lyson, Director of Pupil Transportation, he and his staff, Mr. Joe Lyson, his staff. Thank you for coming, Mr. Lyson. Also, I would like to give a special thanks to the IT department, Ms. Carrie Rozicki and Tracy Matthews, for their vision in helping to decorate this place along with my team. I want to thank you all too. Please give them a hand if you will. Ladies and gentlemen, being environmentally sound, we chose a route we studied long and hard. It took us over a year and a half or so to come up with a plan. We did some careful studying, we did our due diligence in making sure that we were doing the right things. We studied, we did our homework, and with the consultant from the State Department and Mr. Lycey and his team, we got his blessings. And we made sure that we did the right things in terms of coming up with the propane concept and coming up with the buses that we needed to make sure that our children will ride on something that's safe and also be environmental sound in the same vein. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you, if you look to your left or your right, our future. If you see these Bluebird buses that's driven by propane fuel, our future. Next, I would like to bring up our superintendent, who was part of this vision that gave her utmost support and make sure that this vision came true, Superintendent Martha Peak.
It's exciting to be here today, and as superintendent, what you have to realize is when you see a superintendent, you see all of the people who work alongside that superintendent with the vision and mission in mind for the school system to be forward-thinking and to be successful. I tell everyone, when you see the superintendent of the Mobile County Public Schools, envision 7,500 other people standing alongside, because that's what it takes each and every day for our system to make sure we're providing the very best in education and services for the 59,000 students in the Mobile County Public Schools. I'm very fortunate that I have a great leadership team who has the vision, who's on a mission to make sure that our children are top priority. In doing that, we also take up the challenge of our state superintendent to think outside the box, our state superintendent of education, Tommy Bice. And that's exactly what Mr. Terrence Mixon, Executive Director of Student Services, Mr. Pat Mitchell, Director of Transportation, and his staff, and one very important person, Mrs. Dinish Simpson, our Chief Financial Officer, undertook to do in order for us to move forward, to embrace the future. We look at this endeavor with the propane buses as first and foremost we judged the safety factor for our students. An extensive study was done of that. Then looking at how can we move forward and inspire our students and our community to put sound environmental practices in place. And then that brought us back to propane-fueled buses, and we studied that. The other, we want to be good stewards of the funds that are brought to us from the state of Alabama and also our local funds, and budget and use funds well financially. And so that brought us back to looking at the advantages financially of propane. So those are the things we looked at in order for this decision to be made, and we're excited about it. We're looking forward to our students being transported daily in a safe and efficient manner, and us being good stewards environmentally and financially in the Mobile County Public School System. It's also a delight for me to be here today with Lieutenant Governor Kay Ivey. She has been a guiding star for me since she was the counselor at Girls State just a few years ago when I was a junior in high school. And she has been one of those forward-thinking people who has had her heart totally dedicated to the state of Alabama, just as my employees are dedicated to the Mobile County Public School System. So the future, it starts with us, and it's in good hands with the Transportation Department in the Mobile County Public Schools. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Superintendent. Next, I will bring up my Quality Control Manager, Mr. Ken Qualheim, for introduction.
I have the great privilege and honor to introduce our speaker today, a longtime friend. Kay Ivey successfully sought the office of Lieutenant Governor in 2010. In doing so, she became the second woman and the first Republican woman in Alabama history to be elected to the post of Lieutenant Governor. A native of Camden, Alabama, and a 1967 graduate of Auburn University, she had an extensive career in the private sector as well as a career in public education as a high school teacher, and then went on to public service as an Alabama House of Representatives reading clerk. Her public service also includes being appointed by 3 governors to various positions in state government, including Assistant Director of Department of Commerce, which is formerly known as the Alabama Development Office. In 2002, Kay became the first Republican elected state treasurer since Reconstruction and was reelected in 2006. As treasurer, Kay Ivey proved her commitment to taxpayers by making the office more open, transparent, and efficient. Lieutenant Governor Kay Ivey is committed to job creation and preparing students for the 21st century workforce. This commitment has resulted in her service as chairman of the Job Creation and Military Stabilization Commission, vice chairman of the Aerospace States Association, and acting as advocate for the Real World Design Challenge in Alabama. She also serves as the spokeswoman for Alabama Forestry Association's Black Belt Initiative and is one of only 4 people in the association's history to receive the Distinguished Member Award. She also is participating with Auburn University in their campaign to end child hunger. She is a member of First Baptist Church of Montgomery, the Montgomery Rotary, the Board of Directors of the Montgomery YMCA, the Tuckabashie Area Council of Boy Scouts of America. And going back to what you said, Superintendent, Lieutenant Governor Kay Ivey is also honored to be the first Alabama Girl States alumnus elected to an Alabama constitutional office. It's with great pleasure that I introduce our Lieutenant Governor, the Honorable Kay Ivey.
Thank you, Ken, friend and colleague of long standing. And thank you so much, Martha, for your personal comments. And I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you for this opportunity to announce this exciting event today that's history-making for Mobile County Public Schools and the state of Alabama. Senator Glover, we appreciate you being here from the Alabama Senate. Sheriff Cochran, you do a great job in serving your people down here and keeping everybody safe on our roads and communities, and we certainly appreciate your support. Mobile County Public Schools is making history today by becoming the very first school district in the great state of Alabama to add propane fuel buses to their fleet. This is a huge accomplishment, and as Superintendent Peake says, it's a matter of stewardship of our tax resources, and it's about providing safe services for our students, and it all starts with us. This is a testimony to Superintendent Peake and Mr. Pat Mitchell and the transportation staff of, it all starts with us. Local leaders finding good solutions, new solutions to being good stewards and providing quality transportation. You see, these school buses travel 42,000 miles a day. They use 1.4 million gallons of fuel. This domestically produced safe propane will cost the school system $1 per gallon instead of $3.60 per gallon for the diesel fuel. Now, y'all, that's a lot of savings, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that can be deferred and referred to student services. So, Mr. Mitchell and Superintendent Peake, I certainly commend you on your stewardship, your leadership, and your implementation. And Bluebird, we want to thank you so much for being a worthy partner in this great endeavor. You too are part of helping this county and have this historic meeting today and this historic occasion. So it all begins with us, and I am so proud to be back in Mobile and to share it with you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Next, we have remarks by the School Board President, Commissioner, Dr. Reginald Crenshaw.
Good morning. It's indeed a privilege and a pleasure to represent the Mobile County Board of School Commissioners in this new endeavor. We want to say first, the board looked very carefully at two particular points on these propane-led buses, whether they be fiscally sound, if they will be safe. In the presentation made by Mr. Pat Mitchell and his staff, we found that to be true. Just as Mobile is first in the state of Alabama in terms of size, we're also first in this effort to make sure that our buses run in a more effective and efficient manner. We want to say a very special thanks to Bluebird, Roche, and Blossom Gas for their joint efforts with Mr. Mitchell to make this possible. A special thank you to Ms. Kay Ivey for taking from a busy schedule to come down to be with us. As our slogan say, that it starts with us, and we hope that this new propane efforts will indeed start a new trend in terms of providing efficient gas for our vehicles so that the monies that we save will now go back to our children. Again, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Dr. Crenshaw. Next, we will have Mr. Steve Phillips from Busworks.
Good morning. Thank you, Pat. This is a very exciting day for me for a number of reasons. Probably one of the biggest. I don't think I've ever been a distinguished guest, so that's first for me. Thanks, Pat. No, but seriously, there's a couple reasons this is so exciting. One, we've been the dealer for Bluebird here in Alabama for about 1.5 years, and one of our main goals was we wanted to be able to participate in selling buses in Mobile County. This is the largest, the oldest fleet in the state, and it was just a key target for us, and we have a beautiful dealership here in town and just wanted to be a part of Mobile County. So, you know, it's exciting to have accomplished that goal and sell some buses, but the biggest thing is the propane. And tell a quick story. I'll try to be quick because I know it's hot, but a few years ago I was in a dealer meeting over in Georgia, and I was with the guys out of Texas, the Bluebird dealer out of Texas, and they were telling me about how successful they've been selling propane buses. And the more they told me, one of the things that really jumped out to me is these people that had bought them are buying them again. So that means the second go around, the buses had sold themselves. Well, as a salesman, that's the best thing in the world, is have a product that sells itself. And so that became a goal of mine, to start trying to sell propane buses in Alabama. As we all know, you know, change is scary. I stressed out over changing from cable to, you know, satellite TV. So, changing from diesel to propane can be very scary. But, I went along, talking to people. A lot of people were interested, but, it's still a scary thing. And then I meet Pat, and talking to Pat, and Pat was talking about how he wants to, be innovative and have the best fleet in the state. He wants to keep pushing that bar. He wants to go from good to great, and to go from good to great, it takes change. So got to talking to him about propane, and he was very interested. From there, like I said, he did his due diligence. Some information he got from me. A lot of work with Roush, a lot of work with Blossman, but a lot of work was on his own. They really talked to a lot of people, got out, talked to other school systems around the country. We even took a trip to visit another school system, and was just really impressed with the due diligence. He didn't trust my word, and that's good, that's smart. And but anyway, since then we've been able to do it. Roush has been super supportive. Bluebird has been super supportive, getting in, training our technicians, training their technicians, making sure everything goes off without a hitch, and just really thankful to Pat and the entire Mobile County team for just being willing to have the courage to give change a chance to go from good to great, and we're just so thankful to be a partner. And thanks again. It starts with us, guys, and it's exciting that your slogan is what it is, and you're the first to have propane buses. It's just not coincidence. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Next, we'll have the Vice President of Bluebird Corporation, Mr. Dale Wendell.
Thank you, Pat, and thank you, Superintendent Peak and Dr. Crenshaw, for this event. It's a wonderful event. Special thank you to the Lieutenant Governor. If you ever leave office and you'd like to kind of do something, you can come sell propane buses for Bluebird, because you took all my remarks and you delivered them all. So thank you very much for making the trip. You know, it really does all start here, and it started about a year and a half ago when I met Pat and Ken, and I knew immediately they're the right school district to talk to. They're very progressive-minded. I didn't realize you're the largest, too, in the state, but it was really a pleasure talking to him. And I'll tell you one thing about Pat. If you ever need an ambassador for Mobile, he's the man, because I remember him saying, now, Dale, people are going to tell you the Mardi Gras started in New Orleans. It started here. So I remember it well. It all starts here. You think about it. Who's the first person that a student sees during the school day? The bus driver. So it really does start with that individual, and that individual plays a role just like a teacher. And sometimes we forget, we just think, oh, they're transporting children. They really are getting that children's mindset straightened out for a school day. It's nice to be here in Mobile, largest school district. Transports 26,000 students a day, around 18,000 miles per day, I've been told. They're the first to deploy propane bus in Alabama, and they purchased 30 of them. We hope we get a lot more in the future. You know, we're a proven commodity. I think a lot of people forget that. We have over 4,000 Roush and Ford propane units in the last 3 years on the road. And we have put on 48 million miles. So this is not like a risky business. We have proven this and it works. In fact, Mesa, Arizona reported a savings of 37 cents per gallon. Well, if you do some simple math, 37 cents against 18,000 miles per day, you're going to save $60,000 a day. Just think how many teachers that can employ over the course of a year. But again, on behalf of Bluebird, thank you very much for all coming. Thank you for your business, and it's nice to be in Alabama. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wendell. Next, we'll have Mr. Todd Moe, Vice President of Roush Clean Tech.
Good morning. It's great to be here. I'm with Roush, and we're used to coming to Alabama for a NASCAR race in Talladega. But it's actually much better to be here. We're talking about a much more important race, and that's for energy independence. As a country, we spend $800,000 a minute sending our wealth overseas for foreign sources of energy. As you've heard in this press conference, we have a ton of propane here in this country, that we have stewards and change agents here in Mobile County that are deploying these propane school buses. It's an honor to be a part of this team with Mobile County, with Bluebird, with Roush, with Blossman Gas, and we look forward to standing up to our commitment to bringing students to school every day safely, economically, and doing the right thing for the environment. Thank you for having us. Enjoy the day.
Thank you, Todd. Next, I will bring up CEO of Blossom Gas, Mr. Stewart Reed.
Nice to be here with you all today. I think you've already heard it. We're cleaning up the air that our children are going to be breathing when they're going to and from school every day. We're reducing the cost of the fuel for the school districts in the Mobile County Public Schools here that are going to free up funds to do other things such as educating our children. And we're using a fuel that's domestically produced here in the United States. In fact, next year, next 12 months, we're going to export 6 billion gallons of propane to Asia and South America and Europe. I'd much rather see that going into school buses around the country and around the state of Alabama than going out of this country. That 6 billion gallons, if you stop and think of it, could fuel 2.4 million school buses on propane autogas. That's to be a good thing for this country. So at Blossman Gas, congratulations to Dr. Crenshaw and Superintendent Peak and Pat Mitchell, who's done such a good job. They have done their homework. I can tell you we were on the other side of that quite a bit. So we're very familiar. They have done their research. This is a good project. It's going to be good for the Mobile County schools, and I congratulate all of you all for your forward thinking and for taking a leadership position, and it has started with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Stewart. Before I go on with the program, I also want to recognize another individual that's on my staff who also worked really hard with Blossom to make sure that our tanks were installed properly. And I know he worked with your guys on a daily basis, and he did his homework and was on the phone with them. And did his due diligence in making sure things were on point for school to start. And I would like to recognize my program manager. Without him, our buses, our vehicles, our cars would not roll each and every day without Mickey Manning. Is Mickey available? Well, he might be in his office. Anyway, give Mickey Manning a hand, please. Well, we're just about finished with our presentation, but now we would like to do our key ceremony, our handoff, our key ceremony. And I ask that our CFO, Ms. Dinah Simpson, step forward. Superintendent Peak, Lieutenant Governor Kay Ivey, and myself, we are standing in front of the podium. Dr. Crenshaw, you can come up as well.